Hello everyone and welcome back. Now, this is a little bit different than normal. I'm not starting up on the ground up on one of our towers. I'm starting down here because today what we've been doing here, and I say we because Newt's online helping me with this, we started laying out a grid work for an underground base. Right now what we're basically doing is mapping out how we're doing this. What ends up happening is we're running a grid of 5x5 rooms, and those rooms have a three block wide wall in between them of solid material. So I can kind of come over here, right here. So you can see I'm in a 5x5 room. I have 3 solid blocks and then another 5x5 room. What we're doing right now is, oh yeah, that got dug out while I was trying to find this beacon. What we're doing right now is kind of laying out the grid work. What he's doing down there is this is going to be our proof of concept. We're building an underground area for witchery because that's the mod he's kind of working on right now. And apparently he just found some charged Certus quartz. So that's going to be our proof of concept. Does this work? Because as it stands right now, if you need a room that's larger than 5x5, you just knock out a wall and you use up as many of the 5x5 sections as you need, which is, you can see here in practice in this room. Because this room, including the walls, is 19 by 19. So this takes up a 3x3 of those rooms. So you can kind of see each one of these center, these carved limestones, or I'm using to designate the center of what would be a room. So you can see you can see them around the edge, and then there would be one right here under this block, but this designates the center of the tower, so I don't want to remove that one. So then you can see this would be the first room beyond this point. So that's kind of what we're doing right now is we're getting it dug along, and that's what we're trying to do right now is kind of get a feel for how we want to do things and kind of move on from there. But what I'm thinking I'm going to be doing wrong button today, I want to start working towards, obviously I want to get the lunium, yeah, lunium I think it's called. I want to get that online, but to get that online we need mana production. For that I either want to use the Gormalaeus or the Kekimurus, I think it's called. The Kekimurus one eats cake, the Gormalaeus eats food. Right now we have nearing 40,000 baked potatoes. So the Gormalaeus might be a good way to do it. I'll probably end up set up something temporarily to get going with that. Otherwise, I want to start working towards the cake flour. To do that, though, we need an automated method of making cakes. That's going to involve some crafty crates, a drum of gathering. That's the one that will shear sheep or milk cows if there's a bucket in the ground. So the idea would be to drop a bucket on the ground by the cow, set off the drum, harvest the bucket of milk off the ground. That'll give us that way. I've got a little bit of a sugarcane farm running upstairs that I started working on. It's only produced like 60 so far. It's not running very fast. So that's kind of where the end goal of the next few episodes is going to be to get that online. So I'll need my mana production, which requires the automation, which then to get into that. The Lunium is also insane as far as the requirements for crafting it. I think I've got maybe 13 fire. I've got at least 9 of all the base elemental runes crafted. So that's kind of the base of what I've been doing for starting that. Other than that, it's going to be a lot of digging. I want to at least get this dug out so we can see how the proof of concept room goes, see how things line up. Because like I've got my blood altar marker over there. I excavated that point. Over there, I excavated where the center of the botany area is, just to kind of get an idea of where things are. And then the other thing, I just started looking through my my metrics on YouTube, and I realized I've actually got more people watching these videos than I thought. I honestly did not think that many people were watching the videos. I was just they just kind of started off as something to do as a, can I do it type thing. But not only have I got people watching them, there's people that are actually hitting likes on them. So thank you for the likes and for the views, no less, because I really honestly did not expect those. I'm, like I said, just kind of playing around to see what I can do. But with that said, I'm going to get back to digging because he's down there digging by himself, and I want to get down there and help him hollow that area out. Once we get some progress done, I will be back. Okay, hello and welcome back. Let's see what we're going to do here. Empty out some junk. And the junk boxes I've been using are full. So it looks like we're going to take a trip up to the surface with some of this stuff. Yeah, for that we need this because I can't fly yet. So actually I think before we do that, let's pop over here. Now, I'm not trying to center this, but I wanted to get it kind of close. This is where the Petal Apothecary was above us. So if we pop into our map, you can see this is the Botania area right here. We've got our little portal right there, our 2 mana pools and things like that. So the area I'm looking for basically uses a 3x3 of these rooms with these we're leaving these pillars in. We're kind of going for a almost like a mine look. So this would be the area that was dug out. These would be the pillars supporting the ceiling. It hasn't been decided yet how we're going to do these pillars, because we want them to be uniform, whether that means the corners are all done in a way that match, the room design in some way, or the centers. We want to get something in these pillars that allows it to be customized to the location it's in. But you can kind of see I've got a decent sized area here. So every one of these, so this is 5 across and 3. So what are we looking at here? 6, about 21 by 21, I think, assuming my math isn't completely and totally wrong. So it's a decent area to work within. I'm more than likely going to, I'm not entirely sure yet, but I may punch this way a little bit. I don't have much room because we don't want to go past the wall. That's kind of our plan here, is not to go outside of the city. So we would stay under it. So what I may do is I may pick a different direction, or I may find a corner. I'm not sure how I want to fit the Botania portal in here. I may go down a level and put it down there. I haven't quite decided on that yet. Once I figure that out, then I'll move it, because I want to have some room in here. I want to be able to have like our Gormaleas or our Kekimuras or whatever the heck it's called, something like that in here, generating power, or room for the cows if I'm going to do that, or just to have room to move around, because I don't want to end up getting something neat built in there and then realizing later on we don't have any room. So that's kind of what I'm trying to avoid right now. This is the system that was being used by the turtles originally when they carved this area out. They entered into this pipe system, so I've got everything sorted in here. I did upgrade this barrel. I think it's a tier 4, so it's a diamond. It has 1 level 9 upgrade and 2 level 3 upgrades in it, so you can see it'll hold 1,024 stacks, or 65,536 cobble. Did that because I've been using this detailed cobblestone from Chisel. There's a lot here. I'll more than likely change it out in some of the areas. I don't particularly like how uniform this place looks, but for now it's a building block that I'm kind of working with. Here we've just kind of got some of the spoils from where we've been mining. We're just kind of dumping everything in here. I'm going to pick some of this stuff up and take it to the surface. So one of the other things I did, because I got sick of going up and down a ladder, and we have ender pearls now, so I made an elevator which pops us up right here, which is kind of awesome because it's so much faster. So we're going to, oops, that's my sword, dump those things, the amber ores. So I've been kind of saving these things up because I want to get into Thaumcraft. I just, of course, haven't done it yet because I haven't had a place to put it. So we're going to get some of these things stashed. And I have been smelting the iron. So we didn't have any bars of iron in here, and I've already used probably, I think I used almost a full stack to make those upgrades. So we've been finding a decent amount of iron down there. And then along with, where did I put it? No, it looks like I didn't put it in here yet. This is how much of the other materials. Now I'm assuming Newt still has some materials on him. Unfortunately, since these mix, I have to run them through kind of separately. And then I've been using this barrel to drain off our experience. So what I kind of want to look at right now is I want to at least get that flower built, because I get the feeling a lot of my time now is going to be spent digging to try and get that stuff going. So we're looking at a generating flora, and this is the flower I'm thinking of starting with because it's kind of like your entry level food one. If I get some harvester golems, I want to go into this one because this one shaves leaves off of trees, and wood is generically useful. So you have a small tree farm next to it or out of range that's producing trees to get your saplings. Then you have another one near this thing. Oops. This thing. where it grows the tree. The Munchaudu immediately eats all the leaves off and generates power. But I think we're going to look at the Gormalaeus. So of all of this, we have everything currently. We do not have a summer, I believe. So let me take a look here real quick. We do not. But we do have, because I made, like I said, a bunch of these. I went overboard on the fires for some reason, no idea why. So I know we need an earth, and we need an air. We also need a melon, slime, and 2 sand. Alright, so what we're going to do, toss those on there, realize I do not have my wand on me. That back. Alright, and I funneled 3 mana spreaders into this thing, and it still doesn't go very fast. I think today we're also going to make ourselves a next level spreader. Now, one of the other things I did, I kind of hid it in here because, you know, it doesn't really fit Botania. I really like Steve's Factory Manager. I like what I can do with it. It fits my programming mind quite well. So what I did was I made these 2 rings are linked. Underneath these block gates, there's cabling. And then under this chest, or this barrel on that chest, and this barrel on that chest, and that lever. Now, I know most of this bores, well, this bores most people to tears, I think. But all this is these 2 things for living wood and living rock are the same. Basically what it does is it checks, is this lever on? If this lever is on and emitting a redstone signal between 1 and 15, this thing will function. So then that kicks it into its next phase, which is splits into here, where each one of these, all they do is they go into a loop, where it looks at each individual one of these block gates, checks above it, is my raw material there? Actually, I think the first thing it checks for is the process material there. So in this case, is living wood here? If it is, then it harvests it and it stores it in this barrel. If it's not, then it goes over and it checks, is there anything there? If there isn't, like if there's not oak here in this case, because I used oak logs, then it will place oak logs. And I think I have it on like a 45-second delay. Now this one is a little different because this one's, let's see. Oh, what did I just do there? Yep, thought so. Do not need you. Okay, so we're going to spend just a minute going over this just because this is something that if you use Steve's Factory Manager, this could come back and bite you in the butt if you're not paying attention. It took me far too long to realize what was going on here. This condition is the one that looks at those block gates, and so this one checks here to see whether or not it has the material. Then it comes down here. So it was false. It did not have living rock. So it checks down here. So this one is looking for cobblestone. You have to look at cobblestone because when these block gates look above them, they look at the block that will be there if they were to break that block. So in the case of normal stone, that results in cobblestone. If you don't do that, this thing will put smooth stone here and then just keep spewing out 8 pieces of stone every time it hits that, which is what this one was doing, and it just drove me batty because I couldn't figure out what it was doing wrong. So I put these in here because I mainly got tired of having to run up there to do it. So I just thought I would show those. I keep them sealed up because I don't really need them very often, and they don't, like I said, fit the feel of the area perfectly yet. So, all right, so now we got our summer. So we have our summer. Let's look. What else do we need? All right, a fire. Fire, 3 yellows, a red, and grays. So we need a fire. We need a red. We do not have enough yellows. Now we need one of each gray. So we have a light gray, but we don't have a dark gray. So we're going to have to crack one of those. So we're going to turn this. That's the one we need. That gives us our 3. This gives us our 1. And we toss the change back in the box. Now of those, dark gray and 2 yellows need to be mana. So we have to convert those. So 2 yellows and the dark gray. Alright, so now we've got that. Alright, so now we've got our ingredients. Let's take a look here. We are going to need a bucket. And I took my well down. Where did I put the well? Oh, that'll do. In this situation, I don't really need to set the whole system back up. I just need enough to get this thing moving. So all we need to do is that. So we have some water, put our bucket back. Now, let's make sure. So we have our 3 yellows, 2 of which are mana. We have our dark gray mana. Ooh, wait, that. Oh, I did that again. Darn thing looks dark. It's not. We do not need that. We need another light. Well, easy enough to fix. So we need to convert one of our light grays. See, that's why we always check the recipe twice. Alright, now let's check again so we don't have another agglomeration plate issue. We have a red, we have our 2 yellows, we have a light gray mana and a light gray, standard yellow, we have a summer, and we have a fire. So we go red, yellow, 2 mana yellows, gray, mana gray, fire, summer. See, that gives us 1. So I'm not going to do very many of these on camera here because they're kind of dull. Let's take a look. Alright, what did I do? Gormalaeus. Alright, now the catch with this one, like it's saying here, is that it will only eat a single piece of food. We don't want it to waste food. So what we're going to be doing is, I'm again going to abuse Steve's factory manager for this because I can make it work very easily with the logic I've already figured out. So what we want to basically do is we never want to have more than 1 piece of food on the ground at a time. So we kind of want to have it running. But what we can do here is there's a block. Let's find it here. So this is something I'm probably going to build eventually. It's not necessarily going to get built today. Assuming I can find it. Where is it? It's probably under mana manipulation. There it is. Mana detector. So what this does is if you fire a burst through it, so like what you would do is we would have our little Gormalaeus, somewhere off in its own little happy spot with its food, and you would have it set so it had a spreader next to it, and that spreader was firing into mana pool. In between the spreader and the mana pool, you put this detector. That detector will emit a redstone signal whenever it's receiving a burst through it. At least if I remember right. Firing through. Capable of detecting, doesn't. Yep. Alright. So what would happen is every time something went through there, it would trigger a redstone signal. So what you could do is set up a little bit of a circuit here that every time a piece goes, or a burst goes through that thing, it resets a clock. So that clock would eventually kind of keep going and going, and eventually when this burst stop, it would kind of lock the circuit. That's kind of what I'm going to be trying to do. I don't know if it's going to be all Steve's factory manager. It might be some red power. We'll see. But for the first time, or for the most part, I just want to toss that little bugger down and see how he works. But what we're going to do is something a little bit different. We are going to make a next tier spreader. And I want to say it requires a mana pedal in the middle. Let's see if I remember the recipe correctly. Did I? I did. So this gives us our Elven mana spreader. Now there's one more tier above this, but we don't really need it, so we're not going to worry about that. I think, how is our aim here? This might work. Let's take a look. We're in bind mode. Can we hit that? One thing you'll also notice is look at the range. It goes all the way over here, and there's no degradation mark. There's no little pip floating in the air saying it loses power here. So if we were to grab, let's just grab that one. Let's compare the two. Say if I put this one here, and we do the same thing. We'll tag it, and we'll bring it all the way over here to there. And, wow, these torches are dangerous little things. Alright, so let's look. This is just not working out the way I wanted it to. Fine. We really don't need it to be perfect. We just need it to show the example. Because I've run into this a couple times. It's something you want to keep in mind when you're working with Botania. So you can see it's kind of flowing. Now look right there, that little glow hanging in the air. At this point, you've lost some power. So as your mana is traveling through here in that burst, right there you lose mana. So the idea would be that you'd want your pool right here. You want it to hit that pool before it hits that point. But if you look at the Elven spreader, it's got some range to it. It's getting all the way over here with no issues whatsoever. So if we grab him and we come all the way over here, and let's just do that torch. Now, look at the difference. So here's where I'm standing for the lost point here. I mean, it's several blocks beyond that one. So these spreaders are just fantastic. Plus, I want to say the bursts carry more power, which is kind of a nice bonus. Now let's fix the thing I just broke. I'm not sure if that spreader is actually going to hit the block here, or if it's going to hit the pool. But we'll find that out later. It's not really that important at this point. Target him back there. Okay. Alright, now what we got a little mana spreader. No power in him right now. Flip him back into function mode so I don't screw something up. Now, let's go take a look at our potato stash. Haven't really been using them for anything. That's why the Gormalaeus seemed very useful. We are sitting at 560 more potatoes, and we maxed this barrel out. So we got 40,401 potatoes in here. Let's grab 8 potatoes. And just because we're over here, we have 505 poisonous potatoes. Someday I'm hoping those will be useful. Now that I've got a design for the underground that I can work with, I'm hoping to get a Thaumcraft area made. So here's our little chumpy flower. Okay, that was kind of neat. Wow. 1 potato filled that sucker up. So we got 1 entire spreader with some change inside that thing still. So if we throw another one at him. Oh, I wonder, is that what that said? Let's go all the way back here and take a look, because he didn't generate any more power. Food item at a time. The mana is created when it's done. Any other food devours but does not create any mana from it. Takes to digest, delicate, depends on nutrient value. Okay, the potatoes I don't think are fantastic, so it should have only taken a couple seconds to eat it. Okay, there it goes. That's what it meant. So it eats them, and then it waits a couple seconds, then it gives you the power. Alright, so we should be able to pitch another one in. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, give or take 3 to 4 seconds-ish, which sounds about right. I think they're about 2 to 3 food points. So this little thing could generate a decent amount of power for us. Now, I made a whole bunch of sparks. I went out and basically raided the countryside for chunks around here and found those little Thaumcraft flowers. So I made, I think, 56 blaze powder from those things, and I made a whole bunch of sparks. So I got a spark sitting on top of each one of these, and on top of each one of these pools. Now, the difference here is if you look at this one, you see that little symbol floating around there. That's a recessive rune. And those are kind of neat. The recessive rune, what it does is it basically, this one will give power to any other spark. A normal spark or a dominant spark within its range. It wants to give the power from its pool away to any other spark. So if this has power, it tries to give it to these pools, or it tries to give it to these pools. And you don't really see it anymore like you used to, which is kind of a bummer. But let's see, we're looking at mana manipulation and second page spark augmentation. This came from our elf knowledge. Now the only thing is it doesn't split these up, which is kind of a bummer. It'd be nice if it just had multiple pages so it was easy to see them, because you can see it kind of just flips through them. So the recessive spark, so we need pixie dust, mana steel, and an earth rune. That's how you create that one. So that's why I've got, this one. The dominant spark here, this one's created with a fire rune. So exact same pattern, pixie, steel, fire. There is another neat one that I was thinking about making because I think it might help us. It's the dispersive, which I think uses water. Dispersive water, yes. So let's make one of these. I'll show you what it does because it's really neat. So all we have to do is, assuming this is the rune, I think it is. So now we've got our rune. Now to put these on a spark, you basically just smack them with it. So right click, and now you can see it's floating around there. But now look at it. See how it's flowing towards me? Look at my mana bar on the bottom. It's just filling my tablet right up. Anytime you're within range now, this thing will fill your mana bar. And it's a really fantastic thing to have, because now it means I don't have to constantly run down here and drop my mana tablet. I just have to walk within range of that thing, and it automatically fills me up. Now, I thought their ranges were pretty good. Let's take a look. Does that drain some mana? No, it doesn't. I couldn't remember if that did or not. Seems like every time I fall down, I lose some power. But they had some decent range. I wanted to say if I was over here, it should be able to hit me, but it might be the dirt line there. So let's see. We have got our little flower here. Does he still have power in him? Yeah, that's hitting that pool. It's not hitting the stone like I want it to. How can we fix that? I think we would have to get it up above, remove that spreader, and fire it down. Let's see if we can do that here. So what we need is, it needs to be up a little bit. Actually, let's just... Alright, just a second here. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. It was bedtime, so I had to say goodnight to our daughter and get her off to bed before I could come back here and keep doing this. So basically what we got here, we need to move this little thing up a little bit, because I want to see if it can reach there. So what we're going to do is pop up here, and let's see, so that should be about right. Now these things, as far as I know, move more power than the standard spreader, so it should work out pretty good. And you can see the little dot way up in the air of how far. So that's how far that thing can shoot before it loses power. That's kind of crazy. So by looking at that, I could have one of those at the top of the tower and probably make it down to ground level there and not lose anything. That's kind of neat. Alright, so we're going to point him down there. So now, get rid of those. And so now it has power. So let's see here. There goes a burst. Let's see. I was kind of curious to see how many mana bursts it would take to empty that thing. Unfortunately, I get the feeling these... Oh no, one of these pools isn't full. So it should be sending power. Weird. But what I'm hoping to do is find some type of system, like we were talking about earlier, to drop food on this, or keep food near it only when it needs it. So I think that's going to be the rough part. I don't know if I'll end up doing that, or if I'll just keep one of these around and whenever I need power, just dump a whole bunch of food on it and kind of go from there. But it's still kind of neat. Oh, there it goes. Now it's empty. So I'll probably just leave that there for now. But I think we are probably going to wrap it up with that. So we've got that done. Got a decent amount of progress into the underground base going. We're going to have to decide on the final layout for that and see how I'm going to get the portal moved down there. But now that we've kind of got that moving, it's kind of nice, because if nothing else, I can easily hide a mana spreader underneath those pools and launch it down and bring this power down from up here for a little solar panel, or little solar flowers here. So I'm going to kind of do that. Next time I'm going to pull together the resources to make that drum. So the drum we're looking at here is a drum of gathering. This one works just like the drum we have over there, except when it goes off, it'll shear sheep and milk cows for you, which is kind of cool. So basically I could just have to, like I was saying before, drop a bucket, fire the drum, collect the milk. I got it. Combine that with the sugar cane that this little thing is harvesting right here, which is not a fantastic rate, but it's still moving, along with some wheat and things like that, and we could have a little cake farm. Then I just needed something to put the cake down next to that other flower that we're hopefully going to build next time and see. But we'll see what we do, and I'll start gathering some resources, because the that flower, I think, takes a little bit to make. It was generating... Oh no, actually this one's not that bad. It's the Lunium that's crazy, so we can definitely do this one next time. I just need to make a winter, which is, of course, requires a cake. I can do a winter, and we'll do that. So I think we'll do that next time. We'll get this built, and nothing else, see how it works, and kind of see if we can get that drum done and go on from there. But thank you for watching, and I will talk to you next time.